Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Okay, here we are, number two.
Number two.
Let's get our plugs out of the way.
Because you're going on the road.
I will have been in New York this last weekend. I'll be in New York for a couple more days.
Yeah.
Till the 28th. The Friday and Saturday, the 29th and 30th.
Yeah.
I will be at the Comedy Attic in Bloomington, Indiana.
Oh, yeah?
So please come to that.
Oh, the Bloomington, Indiana Comedy Attic.
Yes.
That's a fun gig.
Yeah, it's a great gig.
That's a great gig. So that'll be this weekend after this drops.
Right.
After
Yes.
this goes up.
How about you?
I'm going to be in something called Santa Ana Pueblo at a casino with Maria Bamford.
Where's that?
In New Mexico.
Oh,
and
nice.
We're flying into Albuquerque, a town that I have only been to once. And it was a terrible experience,
Right.
stand-up comedy-wise. And
There's got to be a new gig there, right?
to make
in
new
Albuquerque?
memories. Yeah, Albuquerque. It's a big town.
There's got to be like a two-nighter there.
There's got to be a weekend room there.
I would love to work there again.
Right. I understand there's jade or turquoise or something green. Kokopelli.
The most
Who books
beautiful
that?
sunsets.
Does Kokopelli book that?
I don't know who Kokopelli is.
He's a Native American god of mischief. He plays a pan flute.
Will you just stop it?
It's already begun. I know we've already been talking for an hour. So here's the thing. So 2 weeks ago, it would be now, we talked about who pays openers poorly.
Oh,
and
right.
I got text
You got
messages.
busted.
I got text messages from industry people telling me. One text message chain told me that there were other people that paid other people poorly.
Yeah.
And then one text message chain said, there's comics that don't even book openers. And you would think that they could at least book an opener and give somebody a chance to introduce that person to their audience. You know?
That might be a lazy thing, though.
Oh, it's all lazy, according
okay.
to, like, even the people who do book openers.
Are you talking people that are comics that are headlining a theater don't bring an opener? Or comics that are headlining a club? Because when I'm not famous, but when I
Right.
go to a club, I'm assuming they're going to give me features and
Right.
stuff. No one asks me, hey, do you want to bring anyone?
Nobody ever asked me that, sadly. But I've had to ask myself that a couple of times. And then that is work. It's work to insist to bring somebody. And that's what we were talking about a while back, was that it was work to do it. And so
You're distracted by your phone because you're
that's
finding
I'm
this
looking
text
it up.
chain.
I'm looking
we
up
can
the
hear it
text
in your
chain.
voice, Jackie.
Can you hear it?
You can't disguise your distraction.
It's so there are comics who are making like $5,000 to $10,000
Wait, for one night or for a week?
for a weekend,
A weekend.
and not paying their openers $100.
No.
$100 a show.
What
And
the fuck?
You will be disappointed to see this name.
Oh.
$100 and $100 a show. Yeah, that's bad. And then people making $50K to $500K a weekend.
Wait, what?
Well, like
How
like
is this
50,000.
happening?
It's like Kevin Hart,
Right.
It's
making. He's not even in that. He's got to be in some sort of million. Don't even say his name. Don't say his name. He's beyond us.
His name
He's
is-
a god. He's your
beyond
Chupalapa or whatever you just said. The Indian
He's a
god. He's beyond
Kokopelli.
us. Yes.
Okay, so we're not talking about Kokopelli.
No.
We're talking about this guy pays $500.
Jesus.
$500 for the and no air and hotel. Both of them no air, no hotel. They're making $5,000 to $50,000 a weekend.
So is
no
this,
air.
This one is afraid the money's going to go away and.
Possibly.
Right.
Maybe
But this
they're
one
both.
shouldn't be.
They're both afraid the
This
money's
one's
gonna
been making it for a long time.
Well,
This one's making that much money?
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
There's the rage.
What the fuck?
I know. People are making more money than you, Kim Martin. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I know. But I mean,
But that person?
everyone's making more money than me. Can I make more money than somebody in this
You wanna
fucking business?
Do you want to make more money than the 12-year-old that I just wrote down? Yes, I know. I know. It is a disappointment. And I was talking to Kyle before about why it happens. Maybe it was you. Who knows who I was talking to. But and I think it happens because they don't. We're all trained as comics that they're, first of all, we got paid so poorly coming up that we don't even think about it. And you have to genuinely take some time to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'm working in Bloomington.
Right.
I don't know who the other acts are.
Right.
I'm assuming they're locals.
Yeah.
And I have not asked what they're getting paid.
Right. And this person will not even give, like, who do you want to open?
What? What
Like,
do you mean?
Like the person who has to book that person's opener
Oh.
is constantly trying to get some sort of feedback. What kind of comic would you like to open? Someone dirty? Someone clean? Someone, a man? A woman?
No one asked me. I prefer clean.
Do you prefer clean?
I prefer clean and dark. I prefer someone who gets ooh laughs. Mm-hmm. Because then I look real cheery. I don't want someone lovable up front.
That's funny. I look cheery. I like that. Yeah. I don't ever think about it. I assume that the club is doing something. When asked, I have taken to starting to ask for a woman opener.
Yeah, right.
Just because I know she's not getting enough work. That's literally the only reason when they say, who would you like to open? I usually just say, woman comic, because I figured that there's not enough work in her life.
Right.
And I know that there are plenty of dudes who aren't getting enough work either.
No one's getting enough work.
No one's getting enough work, but I think that women are getting even less.
That thing to go, extra shit to go up against.
Yeah, so
including
why not?
the thing we were talking about last week about
and they
complaining.
Ask. Yes.
Yeah.
And if somebody asks me, they ask me. So
well, here's like, should I didn't specify. No one asked me the next 2 road gigs I have. No one mentioned it, and I didn't. I was just like, yay, I got a gig. I bought a plane ticket. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, every club has a scene, and so they have local comics. I almost feel guilty. I would feel uncomfortable dragging someone from someplace else and having a local comic not have work that week. If that's what they're doing.
Well, and there's comics who don't have openers at all.
Right.
Who, and this is a bad.
Here's the mystery of having an opener. If you're famous enough and if you're making enough money, you can book your own show exactly the way you want to.
Right.
Like Gaffigan is very specific about who opens for him. You know, Ted Alexander opens for him a lot. He's like, he makes his own show. It's fucking a monster show.
That's a monster show.
And he wants somebody clean in front of him and
smart,
just like how Regan does with you.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, yeah.
So but when you're you and me, we just show up at a comedy club. We're more like happy to be working.
Right. We're happy to be working. Don't want to rock the boat by bringing somebody
too much. And I'm assuming because I'm almost 53 and I'm headlining, no one's going to be sexually harassed. So I'm in a different place in that way where I'm not even thinking about that would happen. You know,
right?
So
here's what I'm not thinking: that I'm ever going to have to deal with sexual harassment in the condo because I'm not staying in your fucking condo.
Right. But
Anyway.
who offers a condo anymore? Almost nobody.
Well, Zany's in Chicago has the condo. Which
I didn't
is
stay in
actually,
a condo there. Did you?
No, I bought my own hotel, and they haven't booked me back. But
well, he's hard to reach, though.
He's hard to reach. He's great when you can reach him.
Right.
But he does. I think he overbooks himself or swamps himself or something. But
would
he
you
puts you up
want
in
to be
hotel.
a booker for even a day?
No.
How
did you ever run
people
a room?
stumble into that horrifying career
Did you ever
of
run a
having
room?
comics try to sound casual when they're sending avails because if you don't book me, I'm going to starve to death this week. Hey, how you doing? Hey, but you got to hide all that in the email.
Oh, you totally have to.
Somebody said this tweet something about emails that start with I hope this finds you well. But it's we're always trying to hide our.
Right.
Hey man, I'll be in your, I'll be out there, if you guys need a blah, 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 blah. And it's like, please, I just want to buy a Hot Pocket that week.
Exactly.
I'm so hungry.
Well, remember when you had to book things over the phone and there was nowhere to hide the desperation in your voice? You can hide it in an email. Oh, yeah.
I don't think so. I think people are onto it.
Sure. Well, any sort of that. Whenever anybody asks me how they should email somebody, I'm always like, try to keep it as light as possible. Just try to short.
No explanations. Here's the week. Here's the weeks I'm available. It's a Tuesday through this. It's a blank through, and make it so easy for them to read.
Try to make it as simple as possible.
Right.
And again, I'll repeat. If you live in one of these bigger cities that just books like nightly kind of gigs, like Hot Tub is on Monday, Put Your Hands Together is on Tuesday, something's on Wednesday.
Yeah.
When you
Women
send
Crush Wednesday.
Women Crush Wednesday with Marcella. Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you send your avails to those people, send your Wednesday avails. Send the Tuesdays you have available. Find out what night that show is. When I go to New York, I try to go to New York once a year for 2 weeks. And I try to find out, I get the cool kid show list of what's fun to do then. And I'm just coming for 2 weeks, so I got the best chance ever of doing all the good gigs that week, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not in town all the time. I try to send the avails with the date that their show is. Like their Mondays, I'm going to be there Monday the 27th. Monday the 6th or whatever the next Monday is. And it makes it, just try to make it as idiot proof as possible, because booking is the dumbest, hardest.
What a horrifying profession. I don't know how people do it. I don't.
Have you ever tried to run a show?
I can
here?
barely do a podcast with you, one other person.
Right. So 15 years ago, I tried to run a room.
No.
And it was a pain in my ass.
It sounds awful. And by the way, it's only recently where good comics are running rooms. Mm-hmm. It used to be, if you're running a room,
right.
You've given up artistically.
Yeah, you've given up artistically.
Right.
And which is too bad. But because some people are really good at the production part of it. And that's
the way it is now, so it's fine.
And that's the way it is now. And some of those people don't do stand up at all. And you're like, no, I just like running a room. And you're like, thank God you love running a room.
Thank God there are people like that. There are people who like to sit on the wall and watch. You want them on that wall.
Be on that wall.
We need bookers on that wall.
Own the wall.
So, somebody, I think you know her, had texted me, or DM'd me on Twitter right when the Kate Spade thing came out.
Oh, right.
She was like freaked out.
Devastated?
It was surprising. I don't follow Kate Spade. I get all my purses at Target, and she never meant anything crazy to me.
Right. She meant things to people.
Yeah,
like literally
that's what I found out. I'm like, that defines adulthood. I mean, that's good for her. She made a lot of money, and that was.
But how old was she?
55.
Wow. Killed herself. Kate Spade. Mm-hmm. Do you know how she killed herself? Hung herself
on the doorknob of a door in her apartment where her husband and daughter still live.
Wow.
Yeah. There's nothing to say. What can you say? I mean, she was in a horrible, horrible place, and she thought she couldn't get out.
Right. That's what causes it. You just you don't ever think to yourself, this will pass. Or you think this will pass and I'll still, you just don't believe that it'll go away.
Right.
You get to this place of, I mean, I've wrestled with suicide a couple of times, and it's not ever, not to the level of anyone. I mean, we can let us mock me by my because I've thought of it, but I haven't ever tried it or anything like that. But it's not. My suicide has all just been, no, I'm going to eat at McDonald's again, or I'm going to drink all of that.
Well, I made a little right when I was in the peak of my confusion and shame about my swim coach stuff.
Yeah,
and I was starting stand up, and I swimming was done, and I was trying to figure out who I was going to be now or what my new dream would be, and was so embarrassed by my failure, my huge failure.
That you thought it was,
I would say the world objectively would consider it a failure.
No, they wouldn't. But
okay.
You're good.
So I just wrote, and I had just got my first Macintosh computer, and I had a printer, and I was like, fonts. Like, I never knew what fonts were.
Yeah.
It never occurred to me that different letters look different or why. And then I was...
My mind was blown when they invented fonts, too. I felt like they had just been invented.
Oh, my God.
But they've always been around, it turns out.
And there was
It's
this
a great
guy
episode of
that
I got a font dork on the Dork Force. It's a great episode.
Is his name Chank?
No.
There's a guy... And when the internet first started, okay, so and his name is Chank. He has a font store, and he was always creating fonts, and he did a bunch of fonts for Prince.
Okay,
and for some reason I got obsessed with him. Oh, yeah. I know, because I'm insane.
Because you get obsessed with things. That's why.
Yeah, and I downloaded some of his fonts that Chank made, but so I think I used a Chank font to print. You can always give up. That was my motivational message to myself. Mm-hmm. And my parents thought it was about stand-up, but it was actually about life.
Okay.
And the fact that I gave myself an outlet and made a little poster with my new printer, my
dot matrix.
It was I don't know, was it an inkjet at that time?
Telegraph. No, it would have been dot matrix.
I don't know. It might
the only
have been
people still using dot matrix, for those of you who don't know what that is, rent a car.
Okay, but that's true. It might have been one of the earlier inkjet, not a color.
Okay,
but it was sold. Like Apple made a printer at one time early on when they were making their Macintosh computers. Anyway, so I printed it with this Chank font, and and so it was actually about life. And I kept telling myself, "Don't you can kill yourself. Worst case scenario."
You can kill yourself.
And I never did, and I never got to the point where I would have ever tried. I never got there, ever.
Ken Bradley used to have a comic from Minneapolis who I think is now in like city government. Stopped doing stand-up. But he was a wacky comic back in the 90s. Glued his hair straight up in the air. It was very funny. But he had this joke about killing himself that was super dark for the time. It was about how he went to his therapist and said, "I'm thinking about killing myself." And it was based on a true, that he had gone to his therapist and told her. And she said, "Well, do you have a plan?" And he said, "Yeah, I have a hose that I'm going to hook up to my exhaust and pipe into my car." And she's like, "Have you bought the hose?" And he's like, "Why are you keep asking? It's like, are you going to tell me where to get it cheap?" And it was like this whole thing about how... just the levels of thinking about suicide, right? I mean, during college, I got so depressed I ran into traffic a couple of times, like a fucking nut job. Yeah. I wanted out. You know how sometimes you want out, and I was not killed. You guys, I lived, and
Did you cause a car accident ever?
No. I also didn't take anybody with me. But that does sound more like me, doesn't it?
Your suicide will be a murder-suicide. That is true.
I'll write that down. So she killed herself. And it is weird what people mean to people. I just drove through Las Vegas. We're doing 2 today. Mm-hmm. So 2 or 3 days ago, I'm driving back from South Dakota with my mother-in-laws and my husband. And we are in this car, and we are driving to Las Vegas, and they want to go through Las Vegas. And I was like, "What do you mean you want to go through Las Vegas? Do you want to go down the strip and look at all the stuff? Or do you just want to say, hey, we drove the freeway around Las Vegas and it's the only way to go to get to Visalia?"
Yeah.
And so it was the second. But so we drive up, and I was reminded of the last time I was in Las Vegas was probably 2009. Mm-hmm. And I was doing the Improv for Bert. Mm-hmm. Bert? Who owns the Improv off and on for the last... Bud.
You couldn't remember Bud's name?
I couldn't remember Bud's name. Here's the thing about Bud. Who gives a shit? Bud doesn't book me, and when he does book me, I'll tell this story first, which is the last time Bud tried to book me.
Okay.
He had his enormously young assistant who worked for his enormously old secretary, who just passed away at the age of 100 about a year or so ago.
Aww.
Not a life cut tragically short. Anyway, but the poor guy who worked for him at the time was one of his assistants. He was like, "Hey, Bud wants to know if you're willing to do the Improv in Vegas." And I said, I don't know. It's a 7-day gig, right? And it's something like 13 shows.
Yeah.
And it was to feature was $600.
Ugh.
And
You're staying in the hotel?
Stayed in the hotel.
Wait,
You
hotel?
ate. I don't remember. All I remember is that you ate at the hotel, casinos,
The
employee
commissary, right?
commissary.
Yes.
With
I did that at the MGM.
It was the worst food ever. It was gross.
Oh, really? When I was
When I worked at Catch at Excalibur, it was the same. And
I
the
worked
food
at
was
Catch
okay.
at the MGM when Winston O'Rourke booked it. Do you remember her?
No, I booked with Kevin Kearney.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at the Excalibur. Anyway,
Right. Once I called him and he was on a ski lift and he's like, I can't book you now. I'm like, well, why? Okay,
Don't
I
answer the
didn't
phone.
realize you were on a ski lift when I called. But then I never got a week from him.
Ooh, that's
Maybe
where
he
that
wasn't on a
burns.
ski lift.
No, maybe he just
Maybe he
didn't
was
wanna- Mm-hmm.
booking right at that exact moment, and he accidentally took a call from me. He thought it was Laura Keitlinger.
Right, so that'll happen. Did you get mixed up with Laura Keitlinger a lot back in the day?
When I recorded my first CD, which I didn't release,
Yeah.
the MC brought me up as Laura Keitlinger, and
Christ on a cracker.
the entire time I was thinking, because I was already down on myself, because I, from what I was told, I had an HBO half hour and I
Right.
lost it at Aspen, and so I was already crestfallen,
Yes.
and then I'm like, the fucking
Keitlinger.
MC doesn't know my name, and I
Right.
just hired this guy for $400 to film everything. And
What year
I
was this?
So 2005. I was so depressed.
Yeah.
I've never even watched it because I was inside my head. I was like, I'm
You
nothing.
know what? You have to watch it and look at it and see if it could be released as an album and made Sound Exchange money. Anyway, so in other news,
Okay.
2 Las Vegas stories. One is the I'm going to tell this one. It's Michael Jackson died. That's how I know it was 2019.
Right.
Or 29. 2009.
2009. You're right.
2009. I am in a car with a perfectly nice kind of a woman I met at a festival, comedy festival. So she was kind of an nominal industry lady. So for some reason she wants to hang out, and so she picks me up, and I think that was what I was working the last time I was working at Bud's Club.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're driving. We're off the strip. We're listening to the radio. Michael Jackson dies. This woman almost creates an accident and starts sobbing and sob crying.
Wow.
And I was like, "Are you okay? Did you know him?" And then she's driving the car. It tells me a relatively almost as long as this fucking story about how she had almost met him once. And I said, I got to get out of this car. And she was like, what? And I said, just pull over. Just pull over. And she said, no. And I said, pull over right now. And so I made her pull over, and I get out, and now I don't even know. And this is pre-lit.
Where are you?
Las Vegas. Out in the.
You're just in the middle of the strip right now?
Yeah. No. Way off the strip.
Oh,
She
okay.
wanted to go to lunch or something.
Okay.
And so, but I get out and I'm just sitting there, and I have my cell phone. It's like a tiny Nokia.
Yeah.
And I still have Kevin Kearney's telephone number in it. And I call him. I
I
was
still
like,
have his number.
I was like, hey man, Jackie Cation here. I'm working the Improv. What's going on? And he's like, nothing. How's it going? You're in Vegas? And I said, yeah. Did you hear Michael Jackson died? And he goes,
Oh my God.
he goes, no, weird. And I said, yeah. You got any strong feelings about that? And he goes, no. What's going on? And I was like, you used to love P.F. Chang's. Want to go to lunch? I'll take you to lunch. If you'll pick me up, I will take you to P.F. Chang's for lunch. He said, yeah, I love P.F. Chang's. And so we went to, he picked me
Oh
up.
my God, that's great.
It was so,
Listen,
yeah.
I was working with Victoria Jackson
Yep.
at Just for Laughs in Reno when Princess Diana died. I was distraught.
oh, I thought Victoria Jackson was going to be distraught.
No, she didn't care.
No, she didn't.
She's like, oh. I was like, you're a woman. How do you not feel this in your bones?
I didn't
Okay.
care.
So Kate Spade, right?
Right.
And then days later, Anthony Bourdain, which
Right.
was very strange to me.
You don't think it was a suicide murder pact?
No.
I'm so sorry. Here's the thing about Anthony
By
Bourdain.
the time this airs, there will have been enough time for that
joke to be
Yes,
funny?
Tragedy plus time. You
Right.
You gave it a month.
Right, because it felt too soon. Everybody got mad at me because of Anthony Bourdain because I never liked Anthony Bourdain very much. He reminded me too much of my dad, and I've used up all of my coins of liking that guy on my dad.
Okay.
So Anthony Bourdain, it doesn't mean Anthony Bourdain, and I hear that he was a good guy.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, seems like he was a really good guy, and he also came to like a place of sort of empathy for women.
Well,
which is great.
A lot of those, like, to me, there's the archetype of the former addict who was probably the worst person on earth when they were abusing, and they do so much work they become a really good person. He seemed like that kind of a guy. Well, it's like, oh man, we don't need to lose you.
That's exactly right. Because I have to tell you, last episode we were talking about Dan Harmon and Hardwick, and this sounds egotistical in that addict kind of attitude, but it does feel like when you drink and party that much, there's so much fucking navel gazing because you have so much time because you're obsessive. And if you try to get out of it, right? When you try to get sober, when you try to get off whatever you're addicted to, whether it's food or drugs or sex or money, like Debtors Anonymous kind of stuff. Anyway, when you spend so much time self-examining all of your motives and how to not do the things that will lead you. Yeah. There's a couple of statements that like in all of those programs and all of those paths to try to get your shit together, there's a couple of words that just trigger people who want to not do it with any sort of book. Mm-hmm. Like when you don't want to do it with a program, right? If you don't want to do it with some sort of plan. Right. If somebody says you can't really get better, you can't not drink, you can't not do drugs, if you don't have a connection with your higher power, right? And I forget the other thing that triggers people. It's a lot of people are like, connection with my higher power. Fuck God. And you're like, yes, it doesn't have to be God, and it doesn't have to be some bearded white dude sitting on a cloud. It can be anything you want it to, right? Because, like, it could be Kokopelli, you guys. That guy has a flute. You could go to Albuquerque.
It could be Sal Manicotti.
It could be.
It could be Sebastian.
Yeah, Sebastian Manicotti.
Sebastian.
It could be Bert. It could be Bud, Bert, improv guy. Oh, okay. So
what? Why? He's like an icon, and you're. Never mind.
Who cares? And everybody's an icon. So, okay. I was going to tell you about
spinning
Bud's
out of control, and I won't let you take me with you.
I'm taking you with me because here's what happened with Bud the last time I worked the improv. I worked with Vince. He was featuring, and I forget who was headlining, and he
Valenzuela?
Nope. Black comic, super buff. Really funny.
I know who you're talking about. Not
Vince Morrow? No. Vince, who the fuck
no,
is
you're
Vince
so
Morrow?
close. Vince Morris.
Vince Morris, yes.
I worked with him in Dayton at the at Lisa's room.
He's a good egg. Yeah. He's a good guy. I like that guy.
And he works really hard.
Hard-working road dude.
And I remember he owned property. He owns
Greg
land. Warren.
Yeah.
They had at least a condo or a house, and I was like, what?
Like rental property?
Yes, and they owned it, and they had people in it, and I was like, wait, you have a side business?
Right, which is some of the best, like some of the smartest comics in the world get by Felicia Michaels.
Yes.
Yes, she had rental property in Kansas City, I think, for a while. Anyway, so
no. She has something in Kansas, and she has stuff here in LA too.
Whatever, yeah. But always just the smartest idea in the world.
Have a rental empire as your backup. You always have a place to live if you own something.
Right. And but Vince Morris and whoever was headlining, so I was I was not emceeing. Vince Morris was headlining. I was featuring, and somebody else was emceeing, and wherever we were selling merch, and the comedy club took 10%, not the theater, fucking comedy club, the Improv in Vegas, and I don't know if it was the club or if it was the casino. Let's cut somebody some slack and say it was the casino, shall we?
You know what?
Anyway, so
you're making physical motions that I can't describe to the audience.
I get a call 6 to 8 months later, or an email from Bud's young man assistant saying, "Hey, Bud wants to know if you want to do the improv again." And I said, "Yeah, I'd like to headline." And this was like 2011, right? And 2009, it was probably 2 years later. Anyway, so I said, "Yeah, I'd like either more money to feature or to headline."
Right.
Because it's going to be fine. It's going to be the same 120 people that lost in the casino anyway. It doesn't matter.
Right.
And the guy goes, "Oh," and he emails me back. He goes,
he too is crestfallen.
"Yeah," because he's the one who has to tell me that Bud wanted to offer me an MC gig for $350, and because the feature gig you only got to do 15.
Yeah.
The MC gig you did 7.
Oh my God.
And I was like, not a chance. And this was so long ago that Rick Messina was my manager.
Wow.
And
so you were contacting them even though Messina was your manager?
Well, they were contacting me instead of
Okay.
Well, he never booked. It was Melanie and Messina.
Okay.
They never booked my road stuff at all.
Okay.
And so, but I knew that he knew Messina. So I get another email a couple of days later. He's like, "Yeah, Bud, he says he's willing to feature you, but same money." And I said, again, it's a long way to go. It's a lot of shows. He should bump it up just $150, just like $750 for the week. And the guy goes, a couple of days go by. And he goes, Bud would appreciate it as a personal favor. You know the Booker personal favor line? Remember that?
Right.
Remember that old chestnut, you guys? It's a personal favor. And I genuinely emailed him back and I said, "Tell Bud that I would rather wash his car as a personal favor."
You know how to burn a bridge, Jackie.
I will fucking light a bridge on fire. And I said, "But if he did want to book me, he should talk to Rick Messina."
And
I left it at that.
Yeah, right.
Because I was like, the thing is I'm not the bad guy in that story.
Nope.
Because I had been insulted and then again.
Yeah.
I was like, you can blow me. And I have run into Bud a couple of times in real life where I've never been the knockout, right?
Yeah.
I am a cheerfully good-looking lady. That is it. You want to date this, you know what you're getting into right from the get.
Right.
So, and there are men in this business who are not interested in what I am. They don't want to talk to me as a person, and they don't want to fuck me. So they don't want to book that. But they think that I'm funny, so they're willing to book that, so they'll send their little minions out to book me. And that's fine, but I don't have to be insulted on top of that, right? I mean, you don't have to want to fuck me. Please. In many cases, don't. But yeah, I mean, it's completely... So, anyway, so this guy right here never brings openers and is now bringing an opener.
Oh.
Trying to help people.
Oh, that's
Trying to
nice.
help people. It's a good story.
That's cool, but you're not going to say his name. How do you know you were... Oh, he's bringing her?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And that'll be a fucking hell of a show.
That's
right?
a great show.
So go out there, you guys. Look for a guy, very popular, in a theater, and a really funny woman opening for him, and you'll know who we're talking about.
So Bourdain.
Yeah.
If we go back to that.
Yeah,
I was I was very shocked, and
How did he kill himself?
also hung himself.
Really?
Yeah. I know.
Doorknob?
I think so. It was hotel room.
Wow.
You know,
Hampton Inn?
we all need to start staying in hotels without robes.
Oh, right. Yeah, because both of them are staying in fancy hotels that give you free,
Well, Kate
free
Spade was in her
robes.
hope. Yeah, but the free
Yeah.
robe hotel, I realized, wow, that's a danger for male comics.
Oh, sure. Is it enough time for that to be funny? Because it was for me. Okay.
But somebody else I was talking to this about throughout this, and then I've read other articles too, are a lot of people are on antidepressants
Yes.
that have the side effect of suicidal thoughts.
Yeah.
And is that contributing to this increase in suicide in middle-aged people? You and I are middle-aged. I mean, you do get to, you're at this stage in your life where you're like, either I'm fucked or I'm sort of set or I'm doing okay and the future's optimistic or you're falling apart. Mm-hmm. But although that doesn't describe either of them, they were both
top of their game,
crushing as in terms of career and, the way he kind of move the Me Too movement in a direct, like he kind of told men, here's how you support women by how I'm supporting Asia Argento.
Yeah.
And
he was a good ally.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know a lot of people
chemical,
are on,
is what you're saying? Is it, instead of just being the emotional ennui of being 50, is it also chemical?
Right. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. A lot of people are on antidepressants. And I mean, more so than when we were growing up, 50-year-olds weren't they were alcoholics.
Right.
but now a lot of people are taking, I mean, especially here in LA.
Right. A lot
so
of
many
meds.
comics are on meds.
A lot of meds. They're overprescribed from what, very powerful articles that I've read.
Right.
But I've also seen them change lives, right? I mean,
a very good friend of mine, has been on meds for a very long time, has had limited success, a lot of suicidal thoughts. She did ketamine, which is a variation of like LSD, I think, and has had incredible success with it. Microdoses of ketamine.
Well, the thing is they know so little about the brain that it has to be a trial and error.
Right.
And, and they say, initially, it's got to feel good just to think, well, I'm doing something, right?
I don't know.
And then Maria says that the cocktail that she's on right now of several different drugs, she says it's kind of perfectly balanced right now.
Right.
And it's got her in a really good space.
Right?
Well, I guess her chemistry could change. She's been on them longer than anyone I know.
Okay.
Right?
Because my friend, something would work for a while and then it would stop working. And that's the other, the constant
adjusting,
seeking of a solution when you think, okay, I found it. Ah, fuck. Now I don't have it. Now what? There's 15 drugs and I've done 13. Okay. Well,
I don't know, but the one thing that I know is super dangerous that everyone I know that's on meds has done this at least once in the last 5 years of me hearing the tales of people being on these psych meds, is that sometimes they'll feel so good, they don't like the side effects, they'll cut their own dosage. They're like, well, I'm feeling good, I would also like to have sex and get off.
Oh, right.
So I'm going to cut this dosage. And they do it themselves. They don't consult their doctor.
Yeah.
And nobody does that with any other drugs that the doctors put them on, right?
Right.
They don't go, oh, you know what, I'm not going to finish this antibiotic. Well, actually, they do with antibiotics. People don't finish the run.
Big problem. Yeah.
That is actually a big problem.
I'm going to cut my chemo down myself and see what happens.
Nobody's doing that. Nobody's decided not to get dialysis because it's a pain in the ass. So I don't know. All I know is that with these people who are at sort of the top of their game and also didn't seem depressed,
Well, she did. Now,
Did she?
I mean, in accounts that I've read, friends were like, "Oh, she's been having problems for a long time."
Yeah.
But from what I've read about Anthony Bourdain, everyone seems shocked.
Right.
That's why I just wonder if meds are. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of comics that are on meds, and it's it's. I don't know. It's just tricky. Everyone be careful out there.
Yeah, be careful out there for sure. It's take into account. But if you need relief, take the relief.
Sure.
That's what I say.
And the other thing is you've got to have the insurance to be able to afford it. And
right.
Right. I mean, I keep getting these little bills for my son. He, So I talked to the surgeon, right?
Yeah.
So his surgery is July 9th, and they're going to do a version of it where they take part of the IT band, which is, and they put the ACL in not exactly the right place, but it allows for more bone growth.
Okay.
And then I talked to his pediatrician who when he went to his physical last August. He was 1 on a scale of 1 to 10 of puberty. He was 1, so he was nowhere near
early
puberty.
days.
So he's like, for him to be almost full grown 10 months
Seems
later
unlikely.
is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he said it sounds like someone misread the X-ray. So now we're going to go to an endocrinologist just to double check. But it's like, oh my, so many fucking appointments. And then my mom's in the hospital. I've been going there every day I forgot a candy on my nightstand. Can you bring it to me? Like, she never comes up with a master list. Like every day I've got there's new things.
She wants you to visit every day.
I do visit.
You were going to come anyway. But she genuinely probably thinks you're not gonna. So she's like, "Oh, you bring me this roll of tape."
It's basically rolls of tape. Yes. I went there when she went to rehab for a little bit, and she's like, "Oh, where are your eyebrows?" Because I didn't have any makeup on.
Oh.
So then I'm like, I've been thinking about doing microblading for a long time, and I was like, fuck it. I can't take this anymore. They do basically tattoo hair on.
Oh.
Yeah. So they filled me in. So
that's what that is?
That's what you're looking at right now.
Those are your eyebrows.
Yeah.
They tattooed eyebrows.
There's a little bit of eyebrow, what I have left,
you own.
and then they microbladed the rest of them. Yes.
And they call it microblade?
Yeah, microblading. Mm-hmm.
Well, you can no longer be buried in a Jewish cemetery. You're tattooed. I'm going to have a tattoo of, I don't know what I'm having. Anyway, so.
And then she just.
Yes, ignore that.
You know what? Don't interrupt my story with a riff that goes nowhere. You at least should have a punchline in sight when you're going to start talking.
I would never talk.
So then 2 nights ago, I go visit, and she goes, "Oh, I guess you stopped Botoxing, huh?" Yeah. So now I'm like, there goes $800. I got a Botox. I can't stand this.
Fuck. It's, I spent 2 weeks with my mothers-in-law.
Right.
And there's some discussion of exercise at all times.
Oh, no.
There's a lot of discussion.
Do they exercise a lot?
Andy's mom does. His stepmom does not. So Fran and I are the recipients of a lot of, well, it's just you feel better. So we walked around a lot. We really did. And those guys, first of all, me to go on vacation with 2 75-year-old women, that's what I want to do. I don't want to go hiking and rock climbing. But Chris kept saying, "Oh, I wish I could make that long hike." And then she'd say, "If you and Andy want to do it." And Andy and I would look at each other. And Andy's like, "I'll take the half-a-mile one." And I was like, "Oh, we're going on a half-a-mile one?" Okay. So anyway, so we did plenty of walking around and plenty of whatever. So now I am day 2 into going for a walk.
Are you liking it?
No.
Oh.
No, I here's my thing. I used to walk all the time.
Right.
I used to go for very long walks.
Right.
And they always ended in a coffee shop. And then I'd turn around and come back. And then I'd be happy.
Right.
And so for a while I was doing that. And now I'm like, I don't necessarily even want the coffee. Like, I love coffee and I want to have a coffee. But
yeah,
I want to just make sure. And I don't have enough time in my day to do an hour and a half walk.
Right.
So if I do a 35-minute walk, that's fine. And it's just a mile, essentially. It's just I walk to this high school, I walk around the high school, I come back.
Yeah.
I get to see what's happening. There's some very nice dogs who lie in wait. And then as you walk by, gallop, 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 bark. And you're like, and then when they scare me, I do the thing, which is congratulations. You were successful.
You talk to dogs?
I do talk to dogs. We have also a lot of cats. We got a lot of cats in the neighborhood, feral cats, and I don't say anything to them except for the word cat, and I count them like this: cat, 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 cat. Cat.
You've described probably the worst workout I've ever listened to.
I wouldn't even call this a workout. I would call this me walking around the block. I think we're at 30 minutes. I think we should do, what do you think? We're at 44 minutes, you guys. Jennifer Hamilton, brought to you as a recommendation from Kyle Clark.
Cool. Yeah, we watched a set.
And we watched some sets. And it was
3 great jokes right off the bat.
3 great jokes. We're like,
sold.
she's in. She's clearly working on her, and she's Canadian.
Cool.
And that's kind of fun. And it's when we do these 2 in a row that we're just like, let's find. There's so many women comics. Obviously, we want to get to everybody. But first of all, there's thousands.
I know. I feel guilty. Are we creating that horrible feeling of the list?
We
when
are
don't
to some
include
extent. I'm
somebody?
sure.
We'll get to you. I promise.
We'll get to you.
We'll get to you.
Until and
We see you all.
We see you, and somebody did tell me that somebody was mad at us that
Why?
we didn't get her.
Oh,
Get her on
really?
the list. And so then guess what I did? I put
What?
her on the list. And then
Oh, that was a while ago?
Yeah, it was a while back. It was probably 20 or so episodes. What do you want to do for our birthdays?
I think I'm going to be at Comic-Con.
This is such a different birthday gift than I would have wanted. Except for that Comic-Con is so busy.
Do you want
It's,
to come down?
I don't ever want to come down. Because sometimes they offer me panels.
Yeah.
I've been offered a couple of panels and even some stand-up sets down there. But none of them pay enough for a hotel.
No, but I mean, you could sleep in a trundle bed in my hotel room if you wanted to.
Well, there's that. That's not a bad idea. Probably not.
Okay.
But
Well, let
because
me know if
here's
you
the other
change your
thing
mind.
about I appreciate that. It's because Comic-Con is genuinely so big
Yeah.
that it I get too nervous. I love seeing the cosplay.
I went into Hall H once, and at the very end of Comic-Con, somebody had a badge, and I like the last 2 hours, so I just kind of ran around and
the
looked
dealer
at
room,
it.
or is
It's
that where
Hall H is where all the everyone's selling stuff. They've got the
that's
little
a dealer
craft.
room.
It's like
yeah.
a craft booth.
It is the H. Oh, okay.
Well, this was Hall H though.
Yeah, which is the movie. It's
But they
where all
didn't
the
show a
movie
movie
industries
trailer.
are and stuff.
It's everything's there.
It's like
It was-
all EA and the video game people and the
But there wasn't like a movie theater there, or maybe I missed it.
there's another room that they're selling
yeah,
like steampunk stuff. That's the dealer. It's called the dealer room.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yeah, if you go and you see something. And oh my gosh, we stopped at a Walmart. Andy's mom, we're driving through Utah somewhere. And she's like, oh, I have to stop at a Walmart. I wish there was a Walmart somewhere. As we drive by a Walmart. Andy, this is day 15. He'd been so good the whole time.
Oh my
he
God.
never even, he doesn't yell or anything, but he went, Mom, there's a Walmart right there. And so he turns into the Walmart. We go in. And Andy Ashcraft, bit of a collector of items. And so he's like, I'm going to go look at the Hot Wheels.
Oh my God.
He found 6 rares in the middle of a Utah Walmart, including Eric Killmonger. Lori, Eric Killmonger, the Hot Wheel.
I know. The hot guy.
Oh, yeah, he's totally hot.
Yeah,
guy.
Michael B. Jordan.
But Hot Wheels has these character cars.
Did you ever watch The Wire?
I saw the first season, and then I thought
He was
to myself,
like 14 years old when The Wire started. What was his character's name? Marcus?
Oh, really?
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael
Yeah.
B. Jordan was in the first season of The Wire?
He was in as many seasons as his character went.
Excellent. Yeah, I never watched past
But
the
he was
first
like a
season
kid.
because it wasn't going to work out.
What, Baltimore?
Yeah, Baltimore. Yes, exactly.
Well,
So anyway, Jennifer Hamilton. What's her text? What's Yukon Jenny?
Cool.
Jenny. 'Cause she
Cameron
lives up in the Yukon.
Esposito
Yes.
released a special called Rape Jokes.
Oh, that's right. Did you get to see that?
I haven't watched it yet.
All right. What's it on Hulu?
No, it's a paper.
right.
And,
And
she's
benefits.
donating the money to RAIN, which
Yes.
is the rape action.
Yeah, it's
I don't
a
know what it
rape
stands for.
advocacy
Yes,
group. RAIN
Yes.
with 2 N's.
Rape victims, not rape.
Yeah.
That's who they advocate for.
Right.
And,
they don't advocate for the rapist.
Yeah.
Good news. Cameron Esposito, liberal.
Let me ask you, but
Yeah.
why wasn't that on Netflix?
Yeah. I don't get it.
I don't get.
Why wasn't it on Amazon?
I don't get what.
Because she had a deal with Amazon, didn't they?
no.
wasn't their show?
No, their show was on CISO.
Oh, it was on CISO.
And it got moved to Stars, but Stars isn't really buying stand-up specials.
Oh, that's right.
It's great. I think she recouped her losses and made a huge donation, and maybe it's getting more press because of that. But I mean, it's not going to get the same amount of viewership as somebody on Amazon just flipping through. And why is something that's to me, a lot more important than, just another
super powerful. And Netflix
stand-up.
is always claiming that they want there to be a theme, they want there to be a hook, they want there to be these
Are they? Is that what they're
interstitially-
saying?
Well, that's
For
the
stand-up
stuff
specials?
for stand-up specials. There has to be some sort of weird interstitial
You
thing.
mean like if you had a whole special about your dad dying? Would
right?
that be?
Where there might be some interesting clips of you actually at his bedside.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I wonder if that could
Interesting.
ever be done. Anyway, yeah. So this rape thing
I
could have been great.
mean,
on
yeah,
Netflix.
it is great. I'm just surprised that.
The words they're looking for content.
Oh God, and we love females. We're looking for that is such a lie. They just they overlook so much content. They overlook so many women or whatever they say they're looking for.
Yes. It's so full of shit that it's amazing because that's why I did Horcrux as a DVD is because, or that's why I had it filmed in 4 with HD, which is now it's obsolete, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, 2 years later, 3 years later,
What do you have to film?
it's some
on
other
now?
kind of HD.
Oh, okay.
It's HD. Look at the aging process from inside my pores, kind of situation. And but that's why I did it was because I was told by management and all these different people, not my management, but different people,
Right.
that Netflix is looking for content, and they liked stuff that was finished that they could just then buy done and put up. And that is clearly not true with you and I. But you can still get.
Well, what do we have
45
in common besides our birth date and year?
And that box between our legs? I don't know. What else do we? I just called it a box between our legs. So gross.
Well, other people with boxes between their legs are getting specials.
It's true.
But they don't seem to have been born in 1965.
It's true. We were born in 1965, you guys. It was a hell of a year, I'm told. I was very little at the time. I don't remember it. What's your
Look,
first
you could
memory?
just say I've run out of things to say.
That's what I'm about to tell you. What do you remember? What's your earliest memory?
Wait, your birthday's July 20th, right?
1965.
Okay.
What's
on
yours?
my birthday, the Apollo launched, and on your birthday, it landed on the moon. Did you know that?
I did know that it landed on the moon. I did not know that you're born the 16th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'll probably be at Comic-Con because I think that's is the 14th. It's a Monday.
Yeah.
Usually we go down the Sunday before, so probably headed down on the 15th.
That makes sense. I'm going to actually look at my calendar and tell you where I'm going to be on July 20th, which I think I'm...
Maybe we should throw a
No, I'm
party
here.
one day.
We should. We should throw a party.
You and I are party people. Who says we're not?
As long as it's when daylight time.
Do you
Maybe we
know-
have like a barbecue and we invite only people we like. What about that? Or do you want to invite our work friends?
We
as
like
well?
different people.
Well, you can invite whoever you want then, can't you? Here, I'll bring this guy, you bring that guy, and then we'll both not talk to them.
We each like different sexual abusers.
I know
Each-
it. You like this guy so much, and I couldn't.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Come on. Do you have to be a hard ass about everybody?
No, just that guy. Just it
on.
surprises
You're
me so
fucking
much
no
that you like that
fun.
guy. He's
Well,
fine, but he's not.
He is fine. We may have had a little thing a long time ago.
Well, congratulations.
Back in the day, before my no comics rule was enacted.
Right before your mom shamed you into getting a tattoo of eyebrows. What? the
God
fuck?
dang.
I know it.
So I will be at Acme in Minneapolis, July 5th through the 7th.
Really?
Someone tell Chank.
Right. You know where I'm going to be actually
Where?
at the end of July is I'm doing the Vagical Mystery Tour with Liz Winstead.
Oh, that sounded fun.
I know I'm doing
couldn't do any-
Milwaukee. And they're also doing Minneapolis, which I don't think I volunteered for. I think I didn't volunteer for it because I'm doing Flappers Claremont.
I love Flappers Claremont.
so
I
do
got
I.
one of my best heckler videos from Flappers Claremont.
I know I do love that heckler video. That's on your YouTube, right?
Yes, it's the lady. It's a like an 80-year-old lady's birthday, and she's such a cunt that I was able to just level into her, and the audience was like, "Yes." Oh, it was delightful.
Feckless cunt. That's what she was.
But that's such a fun room. I love it. It's tiny,
actually,
but it's fun,
it's
man.
perfect size.
The drive is ridiculous.
The
It's
drive-
awful on Friday.
It used to have a hotel.
Really?
Yeah, but I didn't want to ever. I was like, no, I'm going to drive home.
Look, yeah.
But and I think it's only one show a night now.
Yeah,
out in
I
Claremont.
think so, yeah.
So
Yeah.
But it's that first weekend of August. That's how. So I'm doing Claremont. But I'm really looking forward to, because I think I'm doing it with Ginny Ashere
Oh, cool.
and Michelle Buteau
wow.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a crazy show
in
for
Milwaukee.
out there.
Yeah, that's an amazing Milwaukee show.
Oh, Milwaukee. I thought you meant Claremont. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
No, Claremont doesn't deserve.
Oh, that's great.
No, they do.
Oh,
they
come-
totally
man, you
deserve.
you're a mean lady today.
I'm a feckless. No, that's,
I'll be at Stir Crazy Comedy Club in August, like August the
Which-
teens, like 15, 16.
is that the Phoenix one that I just did?
Yeah, it's Tom's room.
I love that.
Was it fun?
It was really fun.
Oh, good. I'll be in
and
there.
he's
I'll be
running
there.
it like a champ.
It's
man.
in Phoenix, not Scottsdale?
It's right outside of Phoenix somewhere.
Scottsdale.
It's in some bar mall.
Okay.
It's a mall of bars.
Okay.
It's a
You know
if
me,
were to
I
wa-
just told you I like to throw a party.
if you want a
can't wait
frozen
to-
daiquiri. I was at a new bar last night for a birthday party last night.
I missed a birthday party last night.
It was
Was it initials PH?
nope.
Okay.
AW. And Angela Weber from the Double Clicks.
Oh,
her
nice.
husband Rich. It was
Okay.
his birthday. And okay, on Lancashire on Vineland, actually, at Lancashire and Camarillo. It's a fucked up intersection in North Hollywood. There used to be the Iliad used bookstore, which I love. That moved,
right. It did?
Yeah, it moved over to Chandler and Burbank, near Burbank.
Oh, okay.
Or Chandler and Cahuenga.
Okay.
Whatever. So the Iliad bookstore, right next to what is still there, the Odyssey video store, a video store that rents videos.
No.
It has a porn
Wow.
section. And always made me laugh because porn sections of video stores have the beads. You got to go through the beads
Oh,
to
yeah,
get to
right.
the porn videos. And so Odyssey Video, Iliad bookstore, dilapidated old restaurant that looked like a barrel, but actually kind of had a ship mast sticking out of the top of it, but was closed and never open, and really cool looking building, but gross, right? So when I first moved to Los Angeles, I wanted to buy that building with my non-existent funds,
Right.
and open a restaurant with my non-existent skills of doing that, and open a restaurant called the Aeneid, and it would have been get it?
You are exhausting.
A nerd. The Odyssey, the Iliad, and the Aeneid.
Yes.
And the Odyssey is still there. The Iliad's gone, and it's just opened up. It's called the Idle Hour.
Is that
And
also a famous Greek play?
It is actually the scene. It was. I did not know this. It was the scene of one of the scenes from The Rocketeer was shot in there, and so they have the helmet from The Rocketeer, an old movie.
Oh, God.
And
who cares?
How about this? I wrote a new tag last night, and I enjoyed that. I now have.
Hey, I have a couple new things.
Do you?
But I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with them. I don't know if they're worthy of pursuing, but they technically get laughs.
I think if they technically get laughs,
Yeah, I guess
unless
so.
they are they hack? Are they
No.
hacky? No.
They're just not of great emotional
I thought I'd get a rise out of you with that. Well, there's no emotional consequence to them.
But how much time have we done? Oh my God.
3 minutes, we're doing it.
Yeah. I want to cut one thing you said.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that'll show me. Well, then we should do 4 minutes.
Exactly.
Just for the leeway of it all. I wonder what it is. Will you write it down when we're
I
not
will.
no longer talking?
Well,
You'll write
because
it down right now?
Okay. Just, okay.
It's fine.
Yes.
So I drove through many states. Montana had, was it Montana or Wyoming? Whatever. I go into this place. Everybody wants ice cream. The moms want ice cream. Andy
Right.
wants ice cream. I always want ice cream. So we go in, and there's an American flag, a Confederate flag, a bunch of weird gun paraphernalia that you can buy. And we're in the middle of Wyoming or Montana, right north of Yellowstone.
gonna happen.
It's going to happen. Except for the Confederate flag. I was like, you got to pick one of those flags, dirtbag. And I know that this is your proud Southern heritage.
It's not. They were territories. They're not even
Yeah, I
part
know
of the
that's the
South.
joke. That's a twist. Good
Oh,
for you for
sorry.
getting it. Anyway, so
Did I?
Was it a little harsh? Is that what I'm hearing, Kyle? Kyle thought that was a little mean. I take it back. I'm so sorry. If Kyle thinks it's mean, I'll try to keep it together. Anyway, but
what a horrible person you are. I want you off my couch.
You're
not allowed.
It's been episodes since you've called me a horrible person. I feel much closer. And I'm just saying that I almost didn't buy ice cream at the Confederate flag place, and then knew that there was no more ice cream. Oh, I'll tell you where it is. If someone could look it up, it'd be it was in the shadow of the Devil's Tower, which is a giant rock formation in either Wyoming or Montana. And it was this weird gas station. And I was like, am I not going to buy ice cream here because of their crazy Confederate? And the people working there looked so fucking inbred. It was ridiculous.
Did you ever work Idaho Falls?
No.
There was a problem. Because I saw numerous people. I was working a triple run there with facial deformities, and
lots of them.
But somebody, I think it was Idaho Falls, where they had a hospital that treated that. I was like, oh, interesting.
Oh, okay. So it was a medical condition, not an inbreeding condition. When you breed dogs too close, they get nervous. That's the thing about breeding that a lot of people don't realize when they live in this rural area.
Tell me about it, non-mother.
I know it. I'm barren. Look at us.
We're done?
Yep.
Bye.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.